You're reading the job description for the third time, you're qualified, you know you're qualified, and then you hit the line. Demonstrated proficiency with AI tools, and something shifts. Not panic. Something quieter than that. The specific feeling of looking at a requirement you can't honestly claim you meet. And the thought that follows isn't, I need to learn this. It's something harder. It's, I don't know if I have enough time to fix this before Thursday. Here's what this video is going to give you. A specific method for using AI to prepare for any job interview, including the moment in that interview when they ask you about AI directly. Not a workaround. Not a script to memorize. A method that works at whatever level you're at right now. This is what mid-transition actually looks like in a job search. And there's a way through it that doesn't require pretending to be further along than you are. Something changed in job interviews sometime in the last 2 years. And it's not that companies suddenly became more interested in technology. It's that a line item that used to be optional became standard. 5 years ago, AI proficiency appeared on maybe 1 in 15 postings for non-technical roles. Research tracking job listing language now puts that number closer to 1 in 3 and rising. The interview you prepared for in 2019 is not the interview you're walking into in 2026. The questions are similar. The stakes are similar, but there's a new layer sitting on top of all of it. And the old preparation method doesn't touch it. Here's what that means practically. You can still research the company. You can still prepare your experience stories. You can still practice answering, tell me about a challenge you overcame. All of that still matters. But if you walk in without having thought through the AI question, and they ask it, which they very likely will, you will feel the floor shift beneath you in real time. That question is, how do you currently use AI in your work? And for a lot of experienced professionals right now, the honest answer is somewhere between I've tried it a few times and I've been meaning to get into it. Neither of those is disqualifying, but neither of those said out loud without context sounds like someone who's ready for what the role requires. The good news, and there is specific good news here, is that AI interview prep solves both problems at once. If you use it correctly, the preparation process itself becomes the honest answer to the question. That's not a trick. That's what this video is going to show you. Most people who try to use AI for interview prep do some version of the same thing. They paste in the job description. They type something like, help me prepare for this interview. And they get back a list of generic questions with generic answers that sound nothing like them. Confident. Polished. Completely without texture. The kind of answer a person gives when they've rehearsed so much they've rehearsed themselves out of the room, and then one of two things happens. Either they use those answers anyway and come across as stiff in the actual interview, or they look at the output, think this isn't how I talk, close the window, and go back to preparing the old way. If either of those has happened to you, that's not a problem with your instincts. Your instincts were correct. That output wasn't ready to use. The problem wasn't the tool. It was the framing. Here's the specific issue. When you ask a general question, you get a general answer. AI has no idea who you are, what your career actually looks like, what you've specifically done, or how you actually speak. Without that information, it defaults to averaging. And the average interview answer is forgettable. What makes AI useful for interview prep is not asking it to generate answers. It's using it as a thinking partner. One that helps you find and refine what you already know and have already done. The raw material is yours. 20 years of it. The tool helps you shape it. That distinction is everything. And it's the reason the method that works looks almost nothing like what most people try first. Here's how this actually works. 4 steps. You can complete all 4 in under 90 minutes. Step 1. Give the tool context about you before you ask it anything. Open Claude or whatever tool you have access to. Before you paste in the job description, type something like this. I'm preparing for a job interview. I have years of experience in your field. My background includes 2 or 3 specific things you've done. I want you to help me prepare. But first, ask me questions about my experience so your suggestions are actually specific to me, not generic. That one move changes everything about what comes back. Instead of a list of hypothetical answers, you get a conversation. A real one. And the answers that come out of that conversation sound like you, because they came from you. Step 2. Use the job description as a diagnostic, not a checklist. Paste in the posting and ask, Based on what I've told you about my background, where are the strongest matches between my experience in this role, and where are the gaps I should be ready to address honestly? That output is worth more than any prep course, because it tells you exactly where to put your preparation energy, and it tells you the gaps before the interviewer does, which means you can get ahead of them. Step 3. Build your stories, not your answers. Interviewers remember stories. They forget bullet points. For each major requirement in the posting, go back to the AI and say, here's a situation from my work history that's relevant to this requirement. Help me shape it into a clear, specific story that's under 90 seconds when spoken aloud. Then do the most important thing. Read it out loud. Edit anything that doesn't sound like you. The tool gave you a draft. You're the author. Step 4, and this is the one most people skip. Prepare for the AI question specifically. Ask the tool, based on what I've told you about my experience, how would you suggest I answer the question, how do you currently use AI in your work, in a way that's honest about where I am, without underselling my trajectory? What comes back will be a version of the truth you probably hadn't found the words for yet. You've been doing AI-assisted work this week. You've been thinking about it, learning it, applying it, even if imperfectly, even if just starting. That's not a gap to hide. That's a story about a professional in motion. And in 2026, a professional who is actively building is more compelling than one who claims to have arrived. One thing the method above does is prepare you for the interview. What it doesn't do, on its own, is help you position the full weight of your career in AI-era language. How to talk about 20 years of expertise in a way that makes it sound like an asset, not a liability. That's a different layer, and there's a resource in the description built specifically for that. How to rewrite your professional story so your experience becomes the reason you're more valuable now, not less. If this video opened that question, that's where to go next. Let's stay with that question for a moment. How do you use AI in your work? Because it's going to come up. Not in every interview, but in enough of them that going in without a prepared answer is a real exposure. Here's what the question is actually asking. Not, are you a power user? Not, can you name 12 tools? Not, did you take a course? It's asking, are you someone who engages with the way work is changing? Or someone who is waiting for it to stabilize before you do? That's a behavioral question in disguise. And behavioral questions are answered with specific examples. The answer you're looking for sounds something like this, and you'll make it yours with the method above. I've been building this deliberately over the last few months. I've used Claude to one specific thing you've actually done. What I've found is that the tool is most useful when I bring the professional judgment, the context I can't have, and use it to steer the output. It's changed how I think about one specific part of your work. That answer is honest. It doesn't overclaim. It demonstrates exactly the mindset the question is probing for. And you can give it truthfully after one real AI task in your actual job, which you now know how to do. Here's the thing, no one says directly about this moment in a job search. The anxiety you feel about the AI question is not evidence that you're behind. It's evidence that you understand what's at stake. Those are not the same thing. And the professional who walks in knowing the difference walks in differently. The ground moved. Your job is not to pretend it didn't. Your job is to show up having moved with it, even one step, even this week, and to speak about that movement with the same precision you'd use to describe any other professional development. That's the answer they're looking for. And it's the true one. If this video gave you the method, the resource in the description takes it further. How to build the career narrative that makes your 20 years the reason AI makes you more valuable, not less. The link is in the description in the pinned comment. When you picture sitting in that interview room and being asked about AI, what's the part that feels most exposed? Drop it in the comments. You're not alone in it. So here's what you have now. A 4-step method you can run today. A way to make AI output sound like you, instead of sounding like a rehearsed stranger. A prepared, honest answer to the question that used to feel like the one that could end the interview. That's not a small thing. That's the difference between walking into Thursday with the floor shifting beneath you and walking in knowing exactly where you stand. The one thing to do before your next interview, or before the end of this week if one isn't scheduled yet, is this. Open Claude. Tell it your background in 3 sentences. Paste in one job description you're interested in. And type, ask me questions about my experience before you give me anything. That's the whole first step. It takes 8 minutes. And when you're done, you'll have started something real. Not a simulation, not a tutorial, not a course. an actual AI-assisted preparation session for the actual work you actually do. You're not behind, you're mid-transition. And mid-transition professionals who know what to do before Tuesday are exactly the ones who walk into that room and change the conversation. The ground moved. You're moving with it. That's the whole story, and it's the true one.